Hey guys, it's Aria. Before I start, let's first venture on the specifics of my iPad. So this iPad is a 64 GB 11-inch iPad Pro, the 2018 model. If you want to watch an ASMR unboxing, it's right over here. At first, I was disheartened because I got this 2 months before the iPad Pro 2020 got released, but hey, it's Apple. There's probably nothing new about the new release, am I right? Then we have my keyboard case that I don't use much. I also have the Apple Pencil 2 with its adorable sleeve. Well, that's about it with the specifics. Let's turn this on, shall we? This is my lock screen. As you can see, I have this really cute wallpaper that I drew. You can skip the video to the end where I preview the wallpapers, or you can just click the link in the description below. There we go, we are in. As you can see, I have 7 folders because I don't want to scramble my way through pages of apps. So to begin the video, first we have the basic apps that came with the iPad. I chose not to include these in the utilities folder because they are the most crucial out of all the basic apps. Next we have the utilities folder, aka the folder I never use. Take a good look because I won't be putting them in detail. Now let's get right on with the apps I actually use. Let's start with the dock. I put these apps on the dock because they're the ones I open almost usually. We have Files, App Store, and 3 Google apps with that god-awful design. I swear, Google, if you're listening, change them back. I'm sure a lot of people hate it, so take my word as advice. Well, here's an idea. Why don't you guys comment down below how much you hate the new design? Joke. This is what happens when companies prioritize aesthetics over usability. Anyway, wow, I cannot believe I wasted a minute ranting about design. Yep, moving on. This is Google Calendars. I use it to keep track of my synchronous classes or deadlines, although I don't use it much now because I switched to Notion, but if you'd like to use it, it has a really cute interface and syncs across all your devices. Next is Gmail. Well, that's self-explanatory. And then we have Google Drive where I store all my files. Yeah, apologies for the dog. My neighbor is a really big dog and he's very active. Next, we have our note-taking / school essentials. We have GoodNotes, my main driver. This is where I import readings and do my notes. I honestly prefer GoodNotes over Notability because of the folder system, and when you highlight, it automatically highlights in a straight line. I won't go over a feature difference, but if you'd like for me to make a video about it, comment down below. Here's a sample of my notes in chemistry. I'm kind of trying to experiment with Cornell note-taking and I found it really helpful. Disclaimer, GoodNotes is not a free app. It's priced at $7.99 or roughly around 385 pesos in Philippine currency. Next we have Notability, another note-taking app. This too is not free. It's slightly more expensive than GoodNotes. It's priced at $8.99 or around 450 pesos in Philippine currency. Actually, when I bought this before, it was priced at $9.99 or around 500 pesos. I use this for taking notes during a lecture because it can record audio while you're writing. Its recording feature is the reason why I bought it. Check this out. Hey guys, it's Aria. So this is a testing of the recording feature of Notability. Subscribe! Sorry, my handwriting's awful. Stop that. Hi everyone. Hey guys. Next is Procreate. This is an art app. If you love drawing or sketching, this is the app for you. I'm not a great artist, but I was able to utilize the app whenever I create thumbnails or do graphic designing. I actually draw on the side, but I'm not that great. You can check my Instagram. I drew 2 drawings, pictures right there. You can just check that out. Next is Notion. I don't use it much on the iPad, but it's there so I can see tasks when I'm on the go. I use it to track progress, deadlines, and assessments. I use the template of Janice Studies, but with little personal customizations. Comment down below if you'd like me to create a video about Notion and how I customized it for my personal liking. Next is Canvas. This is the platform my school uses. Fun fact, I haven't opened it since last week. Well, I guess that's more of a sad fact than a fun fact. Moving on, we have the Dictionary app. I have mentioned its capabilities with my college entrance tests apps video, but to give you an overview, it's just a dictionary in the form of an app. I like this because you can search words offline. Next is Messenger and Telegram. Both of these are messaging apps. The apps at this portion of the doc are the apps I recently opened. We're done with the doc. We have on the sides are my widgets. I have here my schedule, calendar, weather, word of the day I never actually read. Then we have a clock, tips, depression because of an unjust roll portion of the widgets, summary of my procrastination, and Google Apps. Since we're done with that, now we go to the folders I have. First is productivity. As the name suggests, this folder consists of apps related to work, school, or productivity in general. The first 3 apps you see here are Keynote, Pages, and Numbers. These are just the Apple version of the Microsoft Office. Then we have Google Docs, an essential for students all around the globe. Google Docs makes group work easily since you get to work with your mates all at the same time. Next is Google Sheets, which is the same with Docs, but it's like Excel with spreadsheets. Next, of course, Microsoft Word. We have here Canva, a graphic designing app. This is a lifesaver for people who doesn't know how to use Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator or any app or software in the Adobe Creative Cloud. This makes creating newsletters or layouts easier. It has a lot of elements and templates that you could use. I personally don't use it much because I prefer Illustrator since it's more flexible, but I do go there for design inspiration. Next is Mendeley, a must-have for research-laden students. I won't go into detail here since this is more of a software for laptops, but the software helps me organize articles and create citations out of them since it is connected to Microsoft Word. You can cite articles seamlessly because of their features. Before the app, it's just so you'd have access with your articles everywhere. Next is Adobe Scan. It's basically a scanner, and if the documents you scan is less than 25 pages, it can activate text recognition. This is Google Keep. It's what I used pre-Notion era to track tasks per subject. This was my account when I was still an SHS student in USD. I made a specific note per subject and it syncs across all my devices. Next is Lightroom. I use this to edit the colors of my thumbnail so it would be appealing for all of you. This is GIFvid. It's mainly to convert GIFs to videos. This isn't a free app. It costs $1 or 50 pesos in PH currency. Next is Pocket. This saves articles or YouTube videos seen on the web, so you could read it again when you feel like it. It also lets you access these articles offline. Although I only have the free version, so you can only do so much with it, but I guarantee that it's worth it. Next, we have Microsoft Teams. It's kind of like an area where you can get together with your group mates. I don't use it much because my classmates don't use it, but I think it'll be really helpful to have an area for all the assessments or projects you need to do. The problem with messaging apps is that it gets too cluttered when you have a lot of group chats. It's also hard because it mixes with your personal messages. Next is books. Of course, it's where I read books I found online. The book I'm currently reading is Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, which is about Marxism and socialism and about capitalism and the working class. This is to get more perspective with Marxism for my pol sci class, just so I could get it out of there and before I garner violent reactions. I think it's good to open your perspective regarding different views, so let's not label anyone a communist just because they read a lot of books about socialism or if they advocate about the rights of the people or about the masses. This is a safe space where everyone has a seat at the table to express their thoughts and views. Let's encourage progressive discourse, okay? Okay. Well, we're done with the productivity folder. Let's now move on to the school folder. First, we have Zoom, which is for my synchronous classes, meetings, and conferences. Second, we have the Philippine Constitution. I have that because I like to browse and read the Constitution during my pastime. This is helpful not only for law students but also for common people. I highly suggest that you have this app on all of your handheld gadgets, especially at times like these when human rights violations are rampant. It's good to have this to remind you of your rights. To all my international followers out there, also have your Constitution at close reach. As for the Filipinos, the Constitution, although flawed, is our weapon during a regime that dismisses our own human rights. If not the Constitution, please save these images on your device in case you get wrongfully arrested. Next up, we have Google Meet, similar with Zoom, but it's made by Google. Next, we have the periodic table. The features are already mentioned at my apps video right there. It's basically just the periodic table in an app, but it has a lot of amazing features and it'll be really useful for STEM students. Just check the video out and you'll see. Next is Moodle. I never used this, but this was the platform my uni used before Canvas. Next is Schedule. I love this app because it comes with a widget so I get to see what my next class is without having to open the app. The user interface is also direct to the point. I honestly look for a schedule maker app that's minimal but at the same time useful. My uni divided the sem into 2 quarters, each quarter having a different set of subjects. This was helpful because you can create different schedules for different quarters. Next, we have Pavilion. This is an app computer sciences students of my uni made for Rec Week or Organization Recruitment Week. It has all the orgs of Ateneo. Last is Schoology. I honestly don't know why it's here, but I think I downloaded it just because it was the platform my sister's school uses. Next folder is entertainment. This is pretty self-explanatory as well, but for the sake of showing you my apps, I have here Netflix. The current series I'm watching is New Girl. For New Girl watchers out there, I have this growing hate against Nick. Next I have here is Spotify. I usually just play the lo-fi playlist I made whenever I study. If you want to listen to that as well, the link is down below. I encourage you to follow because I included independent artists, so let's support them, am I right? Next is YouTube and Playbooks, which is the Google version of Apple Books. Last in this folder we have ABS-CBN. I use this to listen to DZMM, which is a radio channel in the Philippines. This is really helpful at times of calamities and typhoons because it doesn't require a lot of data. And of course, we need to get updates about certain occurrences. Well, we're done with the entertainment folder. Let's move on with my socials folder. First I have here is Pinterest. I go here all the time because the pictures are soothing to look at. As you can see, it's full of art, color palettes, and anything related to that. Whenever I prepare for layouting or any major project, I go to Pinterest to garner ideas. I made different boards for every subject. Now, if you'd like, you can just follow whatever that's on there. Next is Reddit. I go here to amuse myself because it's full of memes. I also go here to ask for advice or to keep up with the PewDiePie subreddit. Then I have Twitter. Follow me, by the way, this is my username. This is where I release my true and natural self. Disclaimer though, I can get really political. Then we have Discord and Facebook. I also have here is Slack, which I never use. Then we have YouTube Studio, which shows the analytics of my videos. By the way, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers, guys. Why don't you subscribe to get more of my super amazing self? Yup. Anyway, next folder is games. First is Chuki, made by Hyperbeard. I'm in love with this game. The art is amazing and it's a good game if you'd want to relax. It's interactive, has goals, and the music blends well with the art. I think the setting of this is in Japan. Oh, please don't make this video as a basis for games. My only criteria for a game is art and fun factor. And this has both. Next is Among Us. I think a lot of people already know this because this trended ever since the quarantine started. It's a good game to play with your friends. Next is Fireboy and Water Girl Online. It doesn't have the art, but it does have the fun factor. The game is nostalgic since I used to play it as a kid in y8.com. Next we have is Island. Again, this is a very relaxing game because of the art and background music. The goal of the game is to find the island before other players find it. The only downside is that it can't be played offline. Then we have Tape It Up. The interface is cute and I also like the art style because it's kinda like 8-bit art. This is just like Temple Run, but instead of a temple and a gorilla chasing you, it's you taping packages using different characters. Then we have Tomb of the Mask. This is a fun game and the art style is just like Tape It Up, but it's somewhat more minimalistic. The goal of the game is to reach at the end of the quote-unquote tomb or labyrinth without dying and collecting all the dots, just like Pac-Man. Then we have Penguin Isle. This is also a very cute game. I personally love penguins, so I found this game fun. The goal is to build a home for penguins. Well, that's the only goal. The music is also insanely relaxing. This is good for mindless playing. Next is Genshin Impact. A few of you might already be familiar with this game, but to give an overview, it's a free role-playing game much like Assassin's Creed or any adventure game, since you get to explore maps and do quests. It also follows a gacha system with its characters. Last is Minesweeper. I love this and I don't think I'll ever be tired of this game. I think this is the game we never knew how to play as a kid, but at the same time we have no choice but to play it since there is still no internet at the time. Well, that's the games folder. Let's move on to the others folder. I have Gcash, which is an electronic wallet. We also have Google News to remind us about how we even live in a world so full of greed and injustice. Then Food Panda for obviously food. Grab is for booking vehicles and also ordering food. In light of this, I just want to remind you guys to tip the drivers because these companies pay them lower than minimum wage. I mean, if you can afford booking for cabs and drivers, you can afford giving them at least $1, right? It's just capitalism is so brutal, so we have to support each other, especially the marginalized. Moving on, then we have headphones. This is an app for my Bose Bluetooth headphones. I never use this, but it's good to have it there. Then we have Shopee to waste my money and drain my bank account. Well, that's all the apps I have in my iPad Pro. Before I end this video, I made wallpapers for your iPads or phones. I'm not that good at art, but I did best in creating these wallpapers. Here is a preview of the wallpapers. Well, that's it for the video. I hope you like this. If you do, like, comment, or subscribe to show your support. Thank you.